this is Tom Kelly, professional business coach with Potential in Motion with your sales tip of the day. Today's sales tip is called, Did You Forget About Me? I recently received an email from a client of mine. She had emailed me telling me that she wanted to take a break for a while. My first response was to respond to her email. Then I thought about it and I decided that I would call her instead. I wanted to have an actual conversation with her about the situation, as I enjoy working with her and thought that a phone call was a much better way to handle the situation. What happened next was my worst nightmare. Exactly 10 days later, I got an email from her that said, "Did you receive my reply back on the 5th? I didn't hear from you and I'm left wondering." Ouch. My heart raced as I completely had forgotten to follow through and call her. I was pretty upset with myself, as I'm usually meticulous in following up with people. Now I know most of you can relate to this, as this is a typical experience for many of us. How many times as a salesperson or business owner that you've had a relationship with failed to follow up with you, get back to you in a timely manner, or just forget about you completely? What were you thinking about this when you were on the receiving end of that? I know what I was feeling at the time, and I was imagining what she was thinking, and it wasn't good. I also knew two things: that an opportunity to make things right, and that she was about to teach me a lesson that I wasn't going to forget anytime soon. So here's what I did. First, I admitted my mistake. The first thing I did was to immediately pick up the phone, apologize, and admit my mistake. This actually started a great dialogue that ended up in a long conversation with my client, which was great. The second thing I did was make it right +1. After I apologized and finished the phone conversation, I immediately sent my client an apology card along with a Starbucks gift card. I call this making it right +1. Well, it was probably enough to call and apologize. I wanted to take the time to make sure that my client knew without any doubt that I value her and her business. The third thing I did was I put together this video. During our phone conversation, I promised my client that I would do a video about the lesson that I learned. I did this because I thought it was a great opportunity to acknowledge her for allowing me another chance to continue our business relationship, share my experience with others, and hopefully remind people how important it is to follow up in a timely fashion. The next thing I did was I upgraded my systems. As a business coach, I'm a huge fan of systems. Obviously, even though I have a strong follow-up system, it failed me in this case. So I made some changes and upgrades to how I handle emails and following up with things. This will prevent this from ever happening in the future. Someone once told me that a smart person learns from their own mistakes, and a wise person learns from the mistakes of others. So hopefully you will learn from me and not make the mistake of letting your follow-ups slip through the cracks. If you do, you can use my steps above to make it right and win over your customer once again. Happy selling. If you're a salesperson, entrepreneur, or small business owner, and you're looking for some more tips, tools, and resources, please visit us online at www.businesscoachchicago.com.